Hello boys and girls, thanks for watching my videos here. We're going to pull the neck on this H228 today. It's been strung up for 4 days now with the completely scalloped bracing that I did in another video. And the top looks real good, nothing funny going on there, nothing more funny than there was before anyways. And remember, it's got the saddle that I want on it. So I feel pretty confident about this. It's also got wider bridge spacing, 2 1/4 inch spacing now. And first thing I did when I got in here was plug in my pressure cooker, which is just off screen. This is a pressure cooker, and it's just got, I inherited it from my grandmother. It's just got a heater hose in it. It's got the Stumac needle, which works fine. Basketball needle works good too, but this one's deeper, goes in farther, and it has a second piece of tubing over it to act as a heat shield so I can hold on to it. You can use an espresso machine, you can use, other things. What I like about this is that I can control the amount of steam. So if I need a shot of steam, I've got it. Boom, put it in there. With an espresso maker, when the steam runs out, that's it. You got to add more water, and you have to use that much water because this is a continuous roll of steam. It doesn't have to use a whole lot of water either. Steam comes out the top, so it's mostly heat. Anyway, I just like the pressure cooker. One of these days I'll probably try the little Stumac heat stick, but I've got a really good soldering station already, and the heat stick doesn't work on that one, so I don't really want to spend $100 for the heat stick and $100 for a soldering station when I get along pretty good with the steam. So while this is warming up, first thing to do is to see what my action is. So what's the action on this guitar with the saddle that I like? And I measured it before, I can't remember, 150, something like that. Let's see what we got. And it is, I don't think it's budged since I put it together, which is good. 135. It's not that far off. 135 with this saddle. I'd like for it to be 95 thousandths of an inch, but 135 minus 95, minus 193 is 42 thousandths. So the action's got to change 42 thousandths of an inch times 2. That's 85 thousandths of an inch at the saddle. So, that's kind of a lot. Watch this. I think I said the saddle was 135. Yeah, 135. So 135 minus 85 is not going to leave you with any saddle at all. It's going to leave you with 50 thousandths of an inch of saddle. And I can tell you this from experience, the low E, if you take the saddle out, the low E will clear the bridge by about 60 thousandths of an inch. So if I lowered the saddle to get the action where we wanted it, you basically wouldn't even have a saddle in there. The strings wouldn't even touch. Alright, so I got to lower 85 thousandths of an inch. And like I told you, it's a 1:3 ratio, so 85 divided by 3 is 28. I'm going to take the heel 28 thousandths of an inch. So I'm just going to go ahead and get my feeler gauge here. I'm going to rip out a 25 thousandths of an inch feeler gauge. I'm going to get an X-Acto knife, and I'm going to scribe the back of the heel. Put it up there. Okay, now I've got a mark. I've got a little reference mark. And I will tell you this from experience, lots of experience. I've done 500 neck resets, maybe more. You need to measure stuff carefully because the guitars can do funky things when they don't have strings on them. And you'll put your neck back on and you think you've got it and you've got enough, and you won't have enough you won't have taken enough off. I trust my mark. There's been so many times when I've been working on the neck, you know, taking the angle down, and I think I've got it, and I look at it, and I think the mark's still there. But I trust the mark. Never failed me. Okay? I've also got a cool deal over here that maybe I'll show you when it comes time to put the neck back on. I've got a little jig that I can put the body and the neck in, and I can string it up fully to pitch without shims or anything in the neck. That's been a lifesaver. So the first thing I got to do here is get these strings off. Nice gold Waverly tuners here. We were talking a little bit about raccoon eyes in the comments, and there is a pretty good headstock. I mean, you'll have to look pretty close to see the imprints or any kind of mark. You'll have to look pretty close to see that there ever Grover Rotamax on there. So, you know, you can put the big clunky bushing washers and all that kind of thing on the headstock to hide the raccoon eyes, or you can take a crack at it and you can try and sand them out very lightly. In this case, I got them out, so why use a big clunky washer on the head when probably 8 times out of 10 I can make them almost invisible. And then the rest of the time, you know, it's kind of like the bridge. Scooting the bridge back over here. Yeah, that little scar is ugly, but so is an oversized bridge. To me, an oversized bridge is really ugly. I would rather have a little bit of a finish scar up here than I would an oversized bridge. You pick your ugliness is my point. Everything's ugly. You either put an oversized bridge on here and you put the saddle in the middle of it, and that looks ugly. You scoot everything back, you scoot the pins back, you scoot the saddle back, that looks ugly to me. I mean, I look at it and I go, yuck, you know? I got a little bit of a scar on here, but the bridge looks good. In fact, the bridge looks really good because it's a 50 style bridge, so it's thinner and it's attractive to my eye as well as all the other stuff. And I probably won't even be able to see that scar once I have the strings on it. And, you know, and right now, like, there's a little shadow coming up from the bridge. It looks like a shadow. So, to me, the scar really is the least of the ugliness. Okay? So, lots of chit-chat about that. Now, I'm gonna take the 15th fret out right here. So, the first thing I do is get a marker. And I mark the treble side of it. And that's just, I don't know why I mark the treble side. I just started doing the treble side, and I do it consistently. I got sheets, just like I use on the bridge. This one is just an insulation. I would never heat that directly. You can see it'll shrink, but it adds extra insulation underneath the cardboard shield, which is just aluminum over cardboard. So I got 2 shields worth here. Pop that on, get my heat lamp, and this is where my little kid chains come in because I can move this around here. I'll put it right here. Obviously, I don't want to get this too close to my steam cooker right now. I don't want to melt the back of the guitar, you know. And it's funny because I did do that one time. I had a guitar, a D-28, and I'm telling you, there was something wrong with the lacquer because it got close. I'm that far away from the pressure cooker. I mean, there's no heat. It was that close. And the binding yellowed. I have never, ever seen anything like that. So I cleaned it off, scraped the binding off, and put a little super glue on it and touched it all up and everything. But strangest thing, and it happened like that. I mean, it wasn't like the guitar was getting hot. I looked over like that, and the binding was literally turning yellow. The finish around the binding was turning yellow on me. Weird. So I definitely watch that now. I suppose, put a heat sheet or a heat shield up here, but never had that problem. So I'm going to let that heat for a minute. I'll get my drill. I'm getting all this stuff together so you can see my process. I've got a 3/32 inch drill bit here that I leave it right there because I do so many neck resets. This is another thing about the StewMax heat stick. It requires a bigger drill bit. So you're going to have a bigger hole to patch up under the fret. And yeah, you know, you can make plugs and things like that, but it's one more step you got to do to get everything fixed up again. I've got a 3/32 inch drill bit on there. I'm going to wait, set this off here. I like to try to be careful to get my drill off of the bench because, you know, you're going to hit it, it falls over. It's a heavy thing, so I always set it down on the ground. So we're going to wait. This is up. I can't tell you how many times this hot pad over here. Let me go move the. I'm going to move the camera over here. Okay, there's the hot pad. It's just a hot plate. Pressure cooker sitting on top of it. There's the hose. That's the setup. The hot plate, pressure cooker, heating that, all that. My hot plate, when it's plugged in, the light will come on, whether the heat is on or off. And I always look over there, I see the lights on, I'm good to go. And I forgot to turn the heat on. I just hit it on max, boom. Never had a pressure cooker blow up on me. Same deal with this, same deal as with working on the bridge. Take it off, and see there's a little bit of steam right under here. Light that up. Don't let it get hot and steamy under there, or you'll have finish issues. And the issue is, of course, that you know these things absorb moisture. There's moisture under the fingerboard. Wipe that up. Heat it up. I'm going to use this spatula here. Got my little tub of water right here. Heating it up a little bit. It should smoke a little bit when it's hot enough. I'm going to test it before I get my mandolin, practice mandolin for a little bit. I'm going to just check it and see. Just get a little water. Sometimes they come loose real quick, you know. No, this is going to have to. This is going to get heated. Okay, no problem. I can hear it starting to boil. It's starting to talk. It's not starting to boil. It's starting to get hot. I'm transferring a tune from the guitar to the mandolin, a jig. Yeah. 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 I gotta remember how good. Yeah, there it is. I'll get it in a minute. The out of tuneness is bugging me, so let me get it in tune. Time I get it in tune, I'm not going to have time to practice. And again, I'm going to do this live so that you see about how much time it takes, okay? You know, I could cut, and I could edit, I could do all that stuff. You wouldn't have an indication of how much time all this takes. Which to me was always a valuable thing. I learned a lot of this by watching StewMax videos with Dan Irwine, and those are great videos. I mean, gosh, watching it happen, very valuable. There was a couple times I wondered, how much time is this taking in? You know, am I heating it long enough? This is a harder mandolin to tune than my other mandolin. It's got a lot more overtones, and I always wonder how come it's hard to tune. So I had people with better mandolin ears listen, and they say, "Oh, this has got a lot more overtones." And I said, "Okay, that's why it's hard to tune, because you don't get the overtones right, and it you know, it's just not quite there." I'm not sure if I like that. I like the openness and woody sound of this mandolin, but it's harder to tune, and the other one, you know, snaps into tune a lot easier. It's more forgiving that way. So I've taken too much time tuning. I better check into here, and then I'll come back. Got a little steam there. We got knife immediately starts sliding into here. And I'm going to get the fingerboard loosened right now. So, there goes my practice. You know, this guitar's had an increase set already. They didn't do enough. When I said that, I can see a hole right here at the 14th fret that I didn't see a minute ago. Now that it's had some heat on the fingerboard, whatever putty or fill or whatever that they use has dropped away in there. And I have no idea the history of it. You know, I don't know how long ago that was done. I don't even know if the owner knows that. But I see evidence of an increase set. Previous one. And who knows when? Didn't give it enough. Maybe it was 30 years ago, you know. This fret's hot now. So I just pull it off. And there it is. Here's the little hole in the fingerboard. Right there. It's had an equi set before. So, what are we going to find when we get in there? Alright, thing's starting to steam. I'm going to put my hole right down there. Nice. I'll put a second one. I like to have two. Let's go back a little. I like two holes. I like for the steam to circulate around the dovetail and come back out again. If I need to clog it for some reason or another, sometimes I'll have one that's a really hard neck to get off, and I want that steam to stay in there. I just get a toothpick and jam it in there. I've got our old 56 guitar string here. This has been really handy for me as a probe, and it's going in that far, you see. So I know I'm going to have a nice clear passage. This one is jamming on something. And there it goes. It goes past now. But it's jamming on a little piece of, on the dovetail or something. I'm not going to be able to jam my needle in there. But if you try to jam the thing in there, you'll get a piece of wood clogged up in it and the steam will stop. And that's kind of a headache. And you got to clean it out and come in here and drill a little bit more. I bet that'll do it. Plus, remember I have two holes, and so it'll zip through. Let me check it. And it's still hanging up from something right there. But going in that far, that's not bad. And it is going through. It's kind of nasty when you probe and it goes thud. And then you go, oh golly, you know. You got it as far as the drill will go. There it is, it's going down. And you got something in there. I swear I had one. I had a 1939 D-18 one time, and it went nowhere. And anyway, long story short, God, I ended up steaming and steaming and steaming on the thing. Some of them had previously reset the neck, which I knew because it had a shim under the ear, and filled the entire cavity with tight bond. And it was horrible. I swear I thought I was working with epoxy for a minute because I kept pulling up this yellowish stuff. So here's my steam needle. I don't know if that's showing up on the camera, but it's gotten a pretty good head of steam right now. It's getting there. Needs to have a little bit more heat. But I'm going to start on it right now. So what I do, put my bag up here, bring the needle in, drop it in, and then when I to go. I like that needle to go all the way to the bottom. This one doesn't want to go. It's got a little splinter right there, a little piece of wood right there. Yeah. I'll steam it a little bit first before I do anything. Paper towel. Paper towel, get a paper towel. Bring it over here. I see the bag is a little bit in the way. I'm going to move it over here. Hope the guy's guitar doesn't fall off the bench. I don't think it will. It just has weight on it. Now you can see a little bit. Steam's coming out. It's coming out this hole. So it's making a loop in the dovetail, which is what I want. I'm going to feel underneath the heel. And once I start feeling moisture come out, like that, then I know that heat's going all the way through. The steam, the heat, everything's going through the dovetail. I didn't think when I made that scribe mark, that heel looked like it was off of the body a little bit. It didn't look, tight. I had a small suspicion this might have been reset at one point, because when I made that scribe mark, I noticed that. Neither one of these holes is really going in there very good. I'm going to get my drill. I want it to go down there easy. I'm going to go ahead and drill this a little bit. Kind of move my drill back and forth. There it goes. See, it went all the way down, now it bottomed out. The reason you want it to bottom out is because most people use way too much glue, and the glue will pool down at the bottom of the heel. And you've got to get down there and you've got to loose this massive glue, which you're going to see. We're going to get this neck off. I actually have 3 necks to do today. I don't know if I'm going to show you all of them. I might show you the steps on each one of them. The actual taking off, so you can get a feel for the variety and the kind of pulls that might happen. But I know we're going to get this one off, and there's going to be glue down there at the bottom. Just keep my paper towel going here, keep that steam from building up. It's not really shooting out the sides right now, so I'm not worried about it yet. I like to also pull the needle back up from time to time. I don't like to keep it in there all the way down all the time. Bring it back up, let the steam go down, and the steam go this far down the dovetail, it'll loosen up the sides too. If you have it all the way down at the bottom, it's only going to steam down here. So I like to let it steam from different heights. Down again. I'm going to start trying the neck here in just a minute. I'd like to get some steam off this side too. Almost. Still steaming. That's one of the reasons why I like to have the 2 holes in there, but too, because when I go like that, I feel it grab. I think, gosh, I wonder if I plugged the tip of it with a splinter, But when I see the steam still coming, then I know I'm good. Let's see if it's going to budge. Take my sandbag off. I just set it on the side, leave the steam needle in there. Start twisting the neck a little bit. Starting to move. Oh yeah. There it goes. This one's going to come off easy. Now I'm going to flip it over. Just because this is the position I like to work with, because I pull on the neck as I do this. Oh yeah, see that heel's loose. I've got a gap at the heel here that shouldn't even be there. So whoever did this previously didn't fit it very good, to my advantage. You're really wobbling. Now at this point, when it starts to really wobble, I'm going to come back behind it and I'm going to pull forward towards me and pop. There goes the neck. Okay? That was pretty easy. There's your square tube truss rod, and it'll have some water in it. Since I got to do another neck, I'm just going to turn this down to low. Let it sit. And here's the glue. You can see the glue on the heel. Sides of the dovetail. You don't need that much glue. Over here, what'd I tell you? Big blob of glue down in there. I'll try to see. I think you can see it. So, while that glue's nice and hot, 1/4 inch chisel. Let's get the net. Now we'll get this first. And then I'm just trying to show you on the camera. Let's come over here. I think you can see good enough that way. Reach in there. Good idea to look on the inside and see if you have any water leakage. And I don't. So there's no problems. You know, the dovetail could come loose or something. The dovetail is a solid piece of wood. It shouldn't come loose. Oh God, Gibson's. Anyways, never mind. Some guitars. Okay. So I'm going to get that glue off of there. Not all Gibsons. I work on a mid-70s Gibson. And it has what they call, I'm not sure what they call the dovetail. It had the double dovetail. And that's where the dovetail here on the neck is made up of pieces of wood. And when I steamed it, the whole thing fell apart. The neck block is made up of 3 pieces of wood. Martin has cut them on 1 piece of wood. That Gibson had 3 pieces of wood, 2 sides and then a back on it. And so let me tell you, man, when you hit that thing with steam, the whole thing fell apart. And that was the first I knew about it, you know. Yeah, it was a wreck. Okay, see this? Let's get the camera on. See this shim right here? They ran the shim all the way to the top. Now, some people like to do that. I don't. And the reason is, there's a reason for everything. Here's a shim. So, someone else was in there, obviously. I'm going to get the glue out of here. So much easier to do it now while it's wet. Gooey. Okay? Big glob of glue. Throw it on the ground. Clean it up later. Yeah. I come in here and make sure the corners of that dovetail are clean. Get all nice and clean. Okay? Alright. Okay? So the neck's clean. Set the guitar, well, yeah, I'm going to set the guitar over here. Okay, let's look at the neck now. The neck, I want to get this glue off of this because once that dries, it's going to be hard. Just come in there and get that. Get it off the shoulders here. I'm not cutting the wood on the shoulders yet. I'm just taking that glue off. That's a big mass of glue. Over here is a bunch of glue. You can drag your chisel up like that too. Let's put it up on the sand, but maybe on this. Maybe you can see it now. Okay? Oh, here's a shim on the neck. Let me show you this shim. It's right here. And you can see it runs the full length of the neck. And I'll show you why I don't like that. Let me get it out of here. And yeah, I've slipped and put a chisel in my hand more than once. Not too often. I think that's my phone that beeped. Okay? This is serial number. I'm expecting UPS today. Alright. Oh yeah, I was going to show you that. There's the glue. Come in like that. I like to take my chisel on the corner and then twist it. And cut a, makes it easier to cut it. Get that off. Well, I'm going to be sanding the edges of this neck, and so getting the glue off of there Just makes that easier. So if you don't, your sandpaper will clog up with this nasty glue. Glue's not even that soft. So that's what tells me that I didn't have a very good fit. They didn't have a very good fit on the neck. And really all I had to do is just get a little bit of steam in there and it came apart. When you have a really good tight fit on the neck, it takes a little more steam. Okay, that's cleaned up good enough for now. Get all this stuff off. Put that up. Let's get the guitar body. Okay, here's the body again. Look here. Okay, this guitar has got a popsicle brace, and it also has the crack. Look at that. You can see the top flexion right there. So it's had a crack underneath that was hidden by the fingerboard, so that's got to be fixed. That might be one reason why the neck came up. This is almost failed right there. It hasn't failed all the way. The crack is not into the rosette yet, but there is a totally, absolutely definite crack right there where that black is. And that, I'm going to recommend that we take the popsicle brace off and put my triangular brace in there, which is designed to fix that. Let's see if you can see the top flex right there. So that's the kind of thing you find underneath the fingerboard, and it obviously didn't take. I wasn't yanking on that neck, and didn't cause that crack at all. That neck came off really super easy. So there's damage in front of it. That's from the previous year. So that's going to be fixed. Okay. Let's see if this neck will go back on. Here's why I don't like to put shims all the way up. When the neck is pulling forward, it wants to come up at the back, right? Everybody knows that. Put this under here. Well, I'm going to pull forward on this neck like the strings do. And when I do, it comes up at the heel. It does not come up here. In fact, this pushes down into it. So you can move it backwards like this a little bit, but the neck doesn't work that way. So what happens is when you get this too tight up in here, in the front half of the dovetail, then you are likely to make a tight fit right up here, but a loose fit down here on the bottom of the heel. And that will result in a not tight fitting neck. And you don't know, you push it in, it gets tight there, and you think, oh, I got it. But it's actually loose down here at the bottom, and it's tight up here at the top. And the neck will lean forward like that. You end up with an inaccurate neck reset, which is what happens here. And the heel doesn't fit really great. I can see a little bit of air going through it right now. So I only run shims a little more than halfway, like that. The only reason I even want it tight, and you've got to have a little bit of motion like this in order to get the neck off. So if you make a perfectly tight fit right here, you're going to have a heck of a time getting that neck off. In fact, then you will have to use, almost have to use, a press, where you push back here on the heel and you pop the neck off that way. A lot of guys like those. I don't like them because they get in the way, and you've got steam coming out, you don't have access to the guitar. I just really don't like having to use a clamp, screw-on thing when I can wriggle the neck like that and pull it off. So I like the front of the neck to be loose. This is just a little loose. The only reason I would want it really, to have a little bit of snugness up there is to keep the neck from falling off when I'm trying to fit it on there. I don't like the neck twisting side to side, but this one feels great. It's not moving, and I've seen necks that you could pull back and forth on, almost take them out of the dovetail. That's a little too loose. On that kind of guitar, I'll put a full shim in there to tighten the whole thing. But I still want my working shims to go just like maybe the bottom half of the heel, maybe a little bit higher, because there's a pivot point to this neck. See, when you pull them back this way, the heel doesn't want to come up. The heel going into the body. When you pull them this way, this comes up, this doesn't, just pushing into the body. So there's a pivot point right here in the middle of the neck, in the middle of the heel. Shims, I want the shims behind that pivot point. Up front, I don't care. No, I don't totally not care, but I don't run shims the whole way for that reason. I don't try to get a full fit. People might say, well, you get better energy transference. Maybe you do, maybe you don't. You know, you need to demonstrate that. It's still, any way you cut it, the neck is trying to push forward. The dovetail at the front half is trying to go upwards. So unless you pin that to where it doesn't move, you are not going to have a good energy transference anyways. And if you pin it like that to where it doesn't move forward, I don't see how you're going to do that with this kind of dovetail. You know, you'd have to fill this in with wood, which is probably what they were trying to do when they filled this air gap up here with tight bond glue. They were trying to make an airless cavity in there, and it was a bear to get that thing apart. So don't do that. You want an air cavity. Who's not to say that the air cavity is not a secondary resonating chamber, you know? So don't just jump to conclusions and say that just because it's a tight fit from here to here, it's going to vibrate more. Maybe, maybe not. The guitar is still, the neck is still pushing forward on the upper part of the bout right here. There's no way around that. So, you know, that's still going to be the majority of your tight fit right there. So, anyway, all I want is tightness on the back half of the shim, and that way I know that the dovetail is tight. Okay? So here's this neck. It's off. I'm going to actually set it on the bench over here for a day. This one came off easy enough that I don't need to really let it sit for 3 or 4 days. The humidity is 40% here in the shop. This thing's already dry. I could probably put it together right now if I wanted to, but I'm going to let it sit overnight at least, because I got 3 other necks to pull today. I got stuff to do after that. So I like to take a sanding block here, and again, I will come back and clean up all the surfaces here, but I want to make sure this is clean. You don't want any glue sticking up or anything like that. I'll clean all that up before I put it together. So now I got to email the customer. I'm wondering if he asked me to do the popsicle brace already. He just needs the popsicle brace out because it's in there and it didn't prevent this crack. That crack, to be fair, the crack is actually back of the popsicle brace. But my trapezoid brace is going to glue that. It's going to be a cleat on it, basically. My trapezoid brace goes from the neck block, about right here. You see that? Yeah. It's going to go from about right here. It's going to encompass that crack. It's going to come up like this. It's going to lay up against the sound hole brace right there. It'll keep this neck block from moving whatsoever, which the popsicle brace does not do. So I wedge my brace in between the neck block and the sound hole brace, and then the neck block cannot move forward. Locks it. That's how I fix guitars that are destroyed. You know, I have fixed a couple of guitars that had popsicle braces that were cracked from here to here on both sides, so that the neck fell into the sound hole. And when you get something like that, you're going to glue this back up, and you're going to put a pretty good brace in here. And I might even do a doubler brace. You know, I might run the grain and lay another piece of spruce over it, so there's not a single spruce grain anywhere. It's a plywood made out of spruce. And I've done that too. And those guitars are holding up just fine. You're spreading the glue force out across here in multiple grain layers, so it's never on one grain. And it's jammed up against the sound hole brace, which is a pretty substantial brace. And I have successfully glued 10 catastrophic failures. Like that. Alright, this one's going to dry. I'm going to get another guitar out, do the same thing again, and then we'll try to show you the putting together of this later. Bye-bye. This is neck pull number 2 for today. I've already done the prep work. I've drilled the holes. I got the fingerboard loosened. A couple of other things here. The tricky thing about this one, being 35, 45, 40, etc., it's got binding. So you don't want to heat the extension too much, or the binding will melt and loosen up. Make sure the guards come well inside that binding, and work on getting it loose as soon as possible. Likewise with the inlays like this, as you heat them, sometimes they'll pop up. You know, they're glued in there with epoxy. That epoxy will swell. It'll come up. You could put little foil covers over them too, you know, help protect them. But then you can't see what's going on. So it's too bad, you know, it's a catch-22 sometimes. Anyway, this one came off real well. There's no problems here. I'm just waiting for my steam to heat up. And then I'm going to pull this one. We'll see what we get. This one should be about the same. It's an earlier model. This is the, it's not a 41. Is it 41? Yeah, it's a 41. It's a D-41. It was in Guam. And it just needs a real mild neck reset. But it does need one, you know. I had a perfect saddle in there, and the action was just too high, the neck's flat. In fact, it's got brand new frets on it too. The Evo frets, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to finish the fret job up here when I have the neck off. And I haven't beveled them or anything yet, so they're pretty sharp. And I'll do all that once I have the neck actually off and in my hand. I'll finish up the fret and then bevel the whole thing off of the guitar, which is kind of nice. Evo is hard to file. I mean, you know, it wears really hard, so it's very resistant to filing and everything. So it's really easy. It's easier for me if I can get the thing off of the guitar to do, which I'm getting ready to do. Just waiting for some steam here. This is why I left it on low. Left it a little bit of heat going on there. So, what else about this guitar could I tell you? It's pretty top. Got a pepperoni pickguard. We're going to get rid of that. I already took the popsicle brace out. I don't see any cracks on the sides. This one has the neck block support. So on this model, there's a J-shaped, L-shaped truss rod cover here. I don't know. I don't think I've ever seen a popsicle brace crack when there's a truss rod cover. I can't think of one. I mean, the thing seems to me like the vast majority on guitars that have popsicle braces. I can't think of a single one with the neck block truss rod cover. Yeah. So I think they offer some support. Here we go. We have steam. Almost. Let's get it ready. This one drills real nicely, and you can see, get my little probe right here. It'll cooperate. No sweat. Nice and clean. Got a little glue on the end, so it's stubborn sometimes. But I don't like to put this in so it's actually steaming because there will be water collected in the tube. Need to get that out. Here it comes. See? Spurting away. Get that cleared out before we put it in there. I'm terrible about this. I just let it steam out on the floor here because the shop, you know, it's just New Mexico. I have to run a humidifier to keep the shop humid. Any water I spill on the floor, dry it up pretty quick. Okay, here we go. Steaming good. Boom! See that? I'm showing you a different one so you can see what kind of things come up. That one just dropped right in there. I had no problem. Let's see the other one. Plunk. You see? No problem with it sticking or anything. That one's easy. Because that's easy, the neck, it's probably really hard to get the neck off. I don't see any sign of a previous neck reset on this one. This is going to be whatever the factory did. Factory doesn't use shims very often. When they do, lately they've been paper shims. And paper shims are really easy to get loose. I mean, the paper just disintegrates and then the neck falls off. Most of the time the neck's loose anyways. I mean, not all of them are loose, but by the time I get the guitar, you know, a lot of times this paper shim's going to be loose. I'm getting steam out of here because there's a truss rod in there and it's coming out the truss rod hole. That's not a big deal. It's coming out. By the time it gets that far, it's pretty cool. I don't worry about that too much. I'm already getting moisture out the end here. Yeah, that's already steaming out. I'm going to give it just a minute and I'm going to try this neck. I'm not going to be surprised if it comes off. Let's see. Not quite, but it's loose at the heel. Oh yeah, the heel's just coming off. There we go. Pop. You hear that? That was a little bit of a glue loosening up. Gotta watch that steam coming in with the truck rod. Got me on the hand. This is one place where, like, I wonder about the Steamac heat stick. You know, this just doesn't take that much time. A lot of times. I'm gonna go to the other side, steam it a little bit. I'm also gonna go ahead and pull the needle up a little bit. Since it's coming out the back so readily, I'm gonna let the steam work down the sides a little bit more. This shouldn't take long. I'm keeping my mouth shut about that and not jinx it. There we go. Who else is coming off today? Oh, that D-45. Gag. I'm building up here. I'm going from an HD-28 to a 41 to a 45, and that's a custom shop 45 too. Yeah. I'm gonna put that one off for tomorrow. Gotta get a little wobble. Get a wobble. Come up here. Just put the needle in about halfway. I want some steam up on the top of the shoulders on this one. There we go. Comes. It gets loose like that, I'm going to start pulling this way on the neck. Ta-da! When I do it that way, I kind of am, you know, the clamp, you know, I was telling you the neck press thing. I just don't see a need for it 90% of the time. This one came out real good, but when it starts wobbling like that, then I'm pulling on the back. It's a weird tension. You're moving sideways, but you're pulling it towards you at the same time, and off it comes. So this one's clean. This is the inside of a Martin from the factory dovetail. You can see they didn't overdo the glue. It's got all the various little stickers and everything on it that you can see. I hope that focuses instead of on my face, but pretty nice. Inside the guitar, you got all these various little holes and stuff that they use to hold the body. No cracks. There's the truss rod channel. That's where the steam is coming out from, and you know all that did was help me loosen the extension. So no big deal. I'm gonna keep the little sticker intact. Got it. Man, there's almost no glue in there. That's the way it ought to be. Okay, that's number 2. I'm going to have to think about that third one again. That's a custom D-45. Very, very fancy. I'm going to have to take a deep breath before I do that. So I'm going to set this one over here. I don't even really have to clean the glue up on this one. It's so clean here. There's just a little glue on the shoulder. I'm going to get that. Yeah. Clean that up. I don't know why there's glue on the shoulders, to tell you the truth, except that they might squish it in there to help hide the neck to body joint. But it's not going to hold the neck on, that's for sure. The thing that holds the neck on is the fit of the dovetail. Not much there. Okay, that one's cleaned up. Later.